Hey everybody, welcome back. Ope here. I am at work today, so this is going to be recorded from my phone. So I do apologize for the sound quality and any scratches or scruffly sounds you might hear from me moving the phone around. Um, I do plan on getting like a little microphone to buy for the future, just so I can do this also while I'm working, so I can like double dip essentially. But I just kind of want to go over stuff about the two new champions that got added today. Well, two of the three new champions that got added today, but one being the login champion and the other being the Hero Pass champion. And I want to make a case for something. Let's go to passes. As you can see, we have He-Man, the Master of the Universe, right? Or of the Masters of the Universe. People are a bit upset about this guy because, one, he costs money. If you want to get He-Man, you have to pay $40 to unlock the premium version of the pass. And I can understand people, being pretty miffed about this because, one, it's an iconic character. Mattel has given the license over to Raid for, I think it's up until January whatever, because you can log in to get Skeletor up until that time. And people grew up, like a lot of people grew up with He-Man. I grew up with He-Man. I'm not like in my 50s or 40s like my brothers are, but they grew up with He-Man, and then vice versa. I ended up growing up with He-Man. And then, there was that awful made live action TV show or movie with Dolph Lundgren, I think, is in it as He-Man. But I just kind of want to go over something here. I understand people are upset. It's $40 for this champion. Do I think it should be $40 for this champion? Absolutely not. I think, honestly, you should have just been given him for free or logged in to get him for free. And I think if you wanted to do the Hero Pass like this, they should have offered a 5-star soul for He-Man, okay? Personally, that's my thoughts on that. Also, Devil's Advocate. I want people to think about something, and this is brought up a lot with people talking about the other side. When you try to get a legendary champion out of a sacred shard, it's a 6% chance without times 2, right? Each sacred shard costs, on average, $20. This is a guaranteed legendary champion for $40, and all you have to do is complete the challenges every day. And something tells me they're going to be a lot like this. You log into the game, use 50,000 silver, use 100 energy. You're already doing that every day, okay? And you have 8 weeks and 4 days, roughly 9 weeks. 8 weeks and 4, we'll just say 8 weeks to complete this, okay? Each one of these was 5, I believe, right? 5 points, yeah. You will eventually, over a couple weeks, get He-Man. And all you had to do was spend $40. He's a legendary, and he has a very unique kit. That's all I'm going to say on that. I'm not trying to tell you to buy this. I'm not trying to tell you to fall for FOMO. I'm just wanting you to look at it comparatively, that you could take your $40 and buy 2 sacred shards and get 2 epics that aren't very good, or and this is only if you're in the market for spending, or you could spend $40 and you could get He-Man just by playing the game, okay? Now, out of the 2 champions, I think he is the better version that you should go for. Let's go over his kit here real quick. His A1, sorry, I can't see that. Eternian Slash attacks one enemy. If they're from the Corrupted Alliance, it places an extra hit on them. Also fills his champion's turn meter by 10%, and it'll fill their turn meter by an additional 2 for each buff on them. So they can have 10 buffs max. That's another 20%. So I'm curious to see how this works, if it's going to fill it by 30% with 10 buffs, or if it fills it by 60 if he places an extra hit on somebody that's an undead faction. I'm curious to see that. Okay. His A2, Luminous Cleave, 4-turn cooldown when booked, attacks one enemy. Before he attacks, it buffs himself with a big increased attack for 2 turns. This will ignore Stone Skin. This is very important. If this attack kills an enemy, it also fills the turn meter of all allies by 30%, and the damage is based off attack and HP, just as the A1 is, okay? And then his A3, I have the power. 3-turn cooldown when booked. It's an AoE. The damage inflicted by this skill increases by 10% for each buff on this champion before the skill is used. This will stack up to a max of 500%. No other champion has this. Then, resets after the skill is used. Again, damage based on attack and HP. Think about this. Most of the time, this attack, you're going to maybe get 50% increased damage off of it. Okay? But with his passive, he has a continuous damage output increase because of this. So let's look at his passive. Master of the Universe. Increases his attack and HP by 5% for each buff placed on this champion. This will stack up to 50%. Places Strengthen on him for 2 turns at the start of each round, and then also a Strengthen on him for 2 turns whenever an enemy's HP drops below 50% after this champion attacks. This champion is immune to petrification. And then the aura is amazing. 28% in arena. That's a really good aura. And yes, this is an arena-based champion. He is specifically made for arena. Okay? I just want people to consider this for He-Man. Oh. Sorry about that. We're back. But yeah, anyways. He's just okay. Like, he's solid. He's not amazing, but he's just okay. And if you are going to spend money and you fear like you're going to miss out on this guy, I would just spend the $40 for the hero pass, do the dailies, and you will eventually get him. That's my hot take on it, okay? I also have another hot take. All right, you guys ready? Let's go over here, and then let's go to the Skeletor chase. So Skeletor is the login champion. And he's just very mid-tier. I mean, not even... Alright, this is what I'm going to say about this. You log in for 7 days, you're going to get Skeletor. You log in for 14 days, you get his 2-star soul. Then, you will earn points by winning battles in the following locations to a total of 1,050 to be able to get all the way up to his 5-star split soul. Okay? You also get a little primal shard in there, which is nice, and some energy. And whatever, player and play points. Nobody cares about those, to be honest. But Skeletor is very just whatever. He's mid. And it's because of his, obviously, it's because of his abilities. So let's go look at him. Let's go to the index. We'll go down to the Night Rev. I really thought he was going to be undead, to be fair. And then, here we go. Skeletor. His A1. Havoc Scythe. This will be a 100% chance when booked of attacking an enemy twice, and then will increase the duration of a random debuff on the target by a turn. He has an HP-based, looks like damage dealer. Very interesting. His A2, which is the most interesting part about him, but sadly the weakest, okay? It's 4-turn cooldown when booked, 100% chance of attacking only one enemy to place petrification on them for a turn. If the target is a boss, they will instead have decreased attack and decreased speed placed on them for 2 turns. Whenever the petrification debuff is removed or expires on an enemy, has a 75% chance to place a decreased speed on them for a turn. Okay? Damage based on HP. My thing about Skeletor is this ability would set him apart from every other legendary and would make him a running competitor with mythicals. If this attacks when enemy was changed to all enemies. Okay? If you change it to attacks, he still has to hit and not land a weak hit for this to happen, which is a very good thing, right? That still balances the power scaling of this guy. It also makes him worthwhile getting. Because I'm going to tell you right now, nobody's going to use this dude. He's definitely going to be just put on the bench. Found out today after I was talking to a couple of my clan mates, petrification is a debuff that cannot be spread. That we've seen so far. So you can't even use the last login champion, Loki, to spread petrification with this guy. Or to Hanorok or anything like that. So, yeah, it's just, I mean, this is just a nothing thing, to be fair. Let's go to his A3. Be gone, fools! Is a 3-turn cooldown when booked. It's a 100% chance when booked. He will place increased accuracy on all allies for 2 turns, which is amazing. He will also 100% chance to steal any block debuffs and 1 other random buff from each enemy. So it's a buff strip, kind of. Like, it's a steal, essentially. And then decreases all enemy turn meters by 15%. If the enemy is from the Tellurian League, it will decrease that enemy's turn meter by 30 instead. Which is pretty nice. And then we look at his passive, Master of Evil. Whenever this champion attempts to place a debuff, steal a buff, decrease an enemy's turn meter, or increase the duration of a debuff on an enemy, it increases his accuracy by 20 for each buff on that enemy. Whenever this champion is hit, has a 40% chance to place decreased resistance on the attacker for a turn, and increases to 75% against champions from the Tellurian League. And then his aura is just 60 accuracy in all battles. Base stats are just whatever. Aesthetically, he looks just like Skeletor, looks really good. To be honest, this is very good. If they change this A2 to all enemies and it still has to hit, so you can still weak hit on that, I think this really sets him apart and would be worthwhile. I mean, even now, you might use him in Arena and Live Arena. I saw somebody on a Reddit post say that they were going to use him to meme on people in Live Arena, and honestly, yeah, why not? But he does bring increased accuracy for your entire team. He does do a turn meter pushback. He does steal block debuffs and one other random buff on the target. So you were essentially getting rid of the block debuffs first and another. I'm going to try him out. I'll book him. Problem I'm having right now is champion fatigue. I end up getting like 5 new champions. Like him and He-Man will be included in that. I got Teox, I got Tuhanarok, I got Maud, I got, Glockade, he's already finished. But I got too many champions to work on now. So, I mean, it's a good problem to have, to be sure. But, yeah, like I said, just kind of meh tier. For him, I'd recommend putting him in Pinpoint and Perception. Or Pinpoint and Stone Skin. Because that's really what you're going to want to put him in. Because he will get sheeped for trying to steal. And, yeah, trying to place these debuffs. We'll see. But that's going to be it for me today. One last note. I was right about a summon pool happening today, but I was wrong about it being the Undead Faction Unity Champion. And my theory on that is they are not going to release that champion until he is absolutely fixed. And there's been no word if he's been fixed yet. But they just might have a summon pool for him this weekend for the Fusion. There's a pretty decent chance that's going to happen. It won't be a guaranteed or anything, but you can bet it's going to be like a times 10. So it's going to be the absolute second to worst odds to get him. And I think if it lines up, it's going to be out of Sacreds, I think, is this weekend. So there you go. Thanks for sticking with the video. Sorry about the phone call in the mid. We'll catch everybody next time. Bye-bye.